Florence Villamino. Florence, we've been talking about the situation in Syria, those allegations of chemical weapons attacks. What's been the international response, really, from the press?
Well, there's a lot of criticism at the lack of reaction from the West. If we take a look at a cartoon in The Guardian, it sums this up quite well. It says, this is how the West reacts to the Syrian crisis. And you see Barack Obama depicted as a turtle. And he's saying, now, how am I supposed to see whether the red line's been crossed with all this toxic gas everywhere? The Independent wonders, what should the West's reaction be here? And it says that the first thing is that the West needs to establish the truth. Were these chemical weapons used or not? And if they were proven to be used, well, then what should the response be? Should there, and would this be a good opportunity to prompt some sort of a Western intervention? And what kind of intervention would that be? Would it be airstrikes or boots on the ground, or just helping the rebels a little bit more? Well, the Independent says that for now, any kind of intervention seems a little bit perilous, and any kind of case for that intervention is a little weak right now.
It certainly is perilous indeed. Staying in the region, we've seen that the response amongst Egyptians to the release of the former president, Hosni Mubarak, has been relatively subdued. What about the international press? What have they got to say about that?
Well, it's rather critical about this release, saying that it risks adding oil to the fire in an already volatile situation. If we take a look at a cartoon in The Independent, you can see General Sisi there opening up a sarcophagus up to this mummy Mubarak. The mummy returns, according to The Independent.
Okay, a bit of a film reference there too. Moving on to another story grabbing the headlines in Asia particularly. That's the Bo Xilai trial in China. A lot of attention in the international press.
That's right, and in the Chinese press as well. It's on the front page of China Daily. Bo Xilai denies charges of bribery. Now, China Daily comes back on the first day of this high-profile court hearing, and also boasts the fact that this trial has really broken ground for transparency. But bear in mind that China Daily is seen as being the mouthpiece for the government. But China Daily tells us with this live blog updates, with news conferences and special treatment for reporters, well, this public trial is expected to become a landmark for judicial transparency. But not if you're a foreign journalist, according to The Independent. Their journalist, Clifford Coonan, says that this open trial of the century is in fact closed to foreign journalists. He says the atmosphere is hardly welcoming in the eastern city of Jinan. The hotel room that he had booked, for instance, was canceled, and the management told him that the hotel had been told not to let foreign journalists stay there.
Pretty contradictory messages from the government of China there. Now to the story that's raised a few eyebrows across the world, and that's the reaction to the Bradley Manning trial. Now, he faces 35 years in prison for crimes including espionage, those for being the WikiLeaker, the source of the WikiLeaks a couple of years ago. What's the response been?
Well, the International Herald Tribune says that this sentence is slightly excessive, and there's a cartoon that points this out. You can see the prosecutors there trying to discourage any kind of whistleblower. So you have Manning, Julian Assange, and Edward Snowden there, seen as the three wise monkeys. So see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, but it's the army that's really, the U.S. that's really clamping down on them there. Other papers are reacting to Manning's announcement that he wanted to be referred to as a woman. He said that he's female and he wanted to be referred to as Chelsea, and for people to use the feminine pronoun. Now, Slate takes a look at what this is going to mean for him when he's in prison. Manning will still be Bradley, and she will be a he. Will Manning be treated humanely? Well, Manning is going to be in a male-only facility and runs the risk of facing sexual assault. And Slate says Manning is now the most famous transgendered inmate in America. And Slate hopes that this will set an example for the challenges that transgendered inmates face in prisons in the U.S.
Certainly some pretty large challenges there indeed. Staying with the United States, and finally one pretty incredible story. This is of a woman preventing a school massacre in Georgia.
That's right. This woman's name is Antoinette Tuft, and I think we should take a listen to her conversation with 9/11 911 rather, when she was during this event.
It's going to be all right, sweet. I just want you to know that I love you, though, okay? And I'm proud of you. That's a good thing that you just given up, and don't worry about it. I'm going to tell you something, babe. I ain't never been so scared in all the days of my life.
Me either. But you did great.
Woo, Jesus.
You did great.
Now, this is a really incredible recording. It's 24 minutes long, and you can really hear her talking this gunman down, convincing him to, well, give himself up to the police. She pretty much saved the day here. He gave himself up to police, and well, it was a really tremendous act of
pretty
bravery for her.
courageous move there from that school teacher there. Thank you very much, Florence Villeminot. That was the International Press Review here at Live from Paris. And you are watching France 24 Live from Paris. Do stay tuned. There's more news and headlines just after the break.